Hi guys, it's Rich with Pitlanes.com, and tonight I've got something a little bit different. I think it's a first for Pitlanes.com. This is Motorsport Manager on the mobile, Motorsport Manager 2, I should say. There isn't any sound because I wasn't sure how it was going to record, but it seems to record just off the phone's mic. I'm just going through the beginning process here, putting my name in. I put the all the graphical things on just because I wanted to see how it'd go. I've seen some people complaining on Facebook about the like level of Android that you need, like the version and things like that. And I'll say I'm playing this on a Google Pixel to give you some kind of sort of idea of the performance you get. So I've put my name in. I think I've talked over the part where it shows that you've got 3 save points. But I'm just picking the livery for my car. What I am going to do is, in this, I'm going to basically do the first race weekend that you get. Because I thought it'd be a good idea just to give people an initial sort of, this is what you're going to get. And here I'm just showing really the rules, no refueling and things like that. This is the first time I'd ever booted the game up, basically. I wasn't sure what to expect, having played Motorsport Manager, the first version on mobile, and obviously the PC version a lot. I was really excited when they finally released the Android version. And there you're just seeing that there's a tutorial type thing, but I didn't need it because I've played the first one, played the PC version. I figured I'd be able to figure it out on my own pretty easily. So here's the home screen, basically, with lots of things on it: cars, drivers, engineers. And I've decided to go and have a look at the sponsorships. And what you'll find is some of them will give you a down payment and then per race payments, and then others won't give you a down payment but a higher per race payment. And also there's the length of the contract to consider. I figured early game I'm just going to take the down payment, get some money in the bank. And along the way you'll get like media updates and things like that. I mean, I guess it adds a bit of something to the game. It's pretty cool. It gives you an idea of like social media and things within sort of the game world, if you like. And I decided it would be a good idea to sort of upgrade my car as soon as possible. Being a spec series, I wasn't sure what I was going to get, but it appeared that the front wing was the only thing to start with that I could upgrade, so that's what I went with, basically. And on the engineer's screen I wasn't quite sure how it worked, but for each engineer you select performance or reliability in this case, and I didn't really realise, so I pause here for a second or two. But I decided to go for reliability, thinking back to the PC version. To finish first, you must finish. Is that Jackie Stewart? Something like that. But yeah, so reliability was the order of the day, I thought. It was the best way to approach it, really. And it cost a bit, but I think it was the best way to go, really, rather than performance. I'd rather finish than go fast and be disappointed that my car breaks down, basically. And you can also buy parts, which is pretty cool. I think I'm just looking in the scouting screen at one point, and then look at my headquarters. This is a different layout. You can select different things to upgrade, be it drivers or design, things like that. I went for the design, if I recall correctly. I'm just looking at this on a little screen within the video editor that I use. Look at the store. So you can change the game, basically the database, or you can go for a bonus of 500,000 per race. They are microtransactions, and it's $10.99 for the pair. I won't be doing that because I don't see the need. But there you go. You can hire different engineers, you can hire different drivers, and get a young driver program going on. But yeah, initially I thought, this is very slick. It looks very much like the PC version. It's very clean. It runs very well within the menu system, for me at least. Here I'm just picking which car to put the front wing on. I noticed that the drivers have got equal status, but obviously Hugh is quite a lot better than Patricia. So I swapped the front ends and put the new one on what I'm going to consider to be the first driver, really. Cool little note, there are like Google Play achievements within this. I'm not really sure how you add people to it, but my name on it is Rich32G, I think. Feel free to add me if you know how to do such a thing. And then I went ahead and upgraded the front wing, or paid to design a new front wing for the second driver, because I want my drivers to do well, basically. And more sponsors became available, so I considered the offers and signed one of those up. I don't know if mobile games are popular with you guys, but really I've not played anything apart from the first Motorsport Manager like it. I don't think I've played a mobile game that's so slick, that's for sure. Before races, you have to pick which sponsor objective you want to go with. I had no idea where I was at, so I thought I'd go for the safe option and get some, at least hold footing on my money. I only make 51 grand if I meet the requirements of that sponsor, but it's a safe way to go to try and make as much money as possible. Nice little loading screen into the first race, so it's pretty cool. I might keep the sound on low, actually, as long as people appreciate I've got a daughter and things going on in the background. We'll see how it goes for the next few minutes. And speak of the devil, as I was recording, my daughter got out of bed and came to see me. But so we're in qualifying now, and I wasn't sure how in depth this would be, what I could do, things like that. So I'm just looking at the tyres and the setup and things like that, and you've got a few different options with the setup. You can go for cornering, tight corners, or you can go for some straights, long straights, things like that. And you've got all the usual standard tyre compounds available to you, so soft, medium, hard, wets, inters, that kind of thing. So I put them kind of on a split strategy, I think, for qualifying. I went with softs just because, but I also, with one, I think I went with acceleration and one with neutral gear ratios, but I set them both for cornering, I think. And I pause the game when doing that, so I'm not losing any time in qualifying. A little trick I learn on PC. I do the same when organising pit stops and things. Taking a look at the data screen, what that provides, and it's like a timing screen and also weather, because there is weather in this game. As far as I know, just wet weather. And dry weather, and obviously in between them. And if it's anything like the PC version, there'll be times where you're not sure, just like in real life, which tyre to be on and when to pit, and that can be extremely crucial. Obviously part of his luck when you're coming around to the pits and things like that, but that's great. That's what you want. You want that depth in tactics, and that risk. How long can you stay out on some tyres and things like that? So you couldn't do anything with how hard the drivers were going and things like that. But much to my surprise, my driver with the new front wing pops up in first. My second driver doesn't fare quite as well, in sixth initially, but does drop down. As you can see, there is the odd slight freeze, but I don't know whether that's because I was recording and things like that, because it's the very first time I've tried. I saw this come out maybe last week and thought, you know what, I need to get that downloaded when I've got a chance and give it a play, and maybe make this video, basically. So after their first stint, I swapped their setup, one to acceleration, the other to neutral, kept it on cornering, and thought I'd give that a go, because if the guy who's now in second could gain a little bit, then so be it. Or the secret could have been to have it on whatever I had the guy in second on, and the guy that's in 14th, or the woman that's in 14th, could grab some places. So I have a little look at the timing screen again and the weather, just to make sure that it's going to be fine weather for the rest of the session, and I decide to wait now until nearer the end of the session, because I thought, we'll just go for a bit of a do or die attempt. I think that's what I was thinking. I think I was considering when to do it and when to send them out and things like that, and I was just looking at the setups and making sure I'd done what I wanted to do, and I'm just doing that. Just I don't know if I was manually pausing the game or it pauses it when you do it at this point. I can't remember, but there we go. They're now being sent out. I was playing with the volume because I didn't know how it was going to come out, basically, and in the background you can hear my daughter chatting to me, and Top Gear was also on, and while I'm sure most people who watch this kind of video love Top Gear, I didn't think peeps would want to listen to it, sorry, particularly or my daughter talking about her Wriggle Piggle. Some of these freezes seem longer than I recall. I think it may be a little bit of a recording issue, because I certainly had what I consider a fairly fluid experience with it. But again, it could be in my editor how I'm viewing it back, basically, because it seems pretty bad with me watching it back, but it really wasn't. So I'm hoping that's just a screen thing, recording thing. My second runs didn't go that great. I think the guy in 14th did improve slightly, maybe, but I decided to swap the setups back and see if I could get them out for a last cheeky run on a set of softs, see if I could get him some clean air, and get them out on track, basically, which I do, which is nice, and off they go for the next round. So far, it's pretty bloody deep. I've got to say, I'm impressed. For a mobile game, it's pretty crazy, really. I can see why people may have complained about the requirements, because to me it's pretty clear it needs it. Because the environment, the view is nice, I think, and the menus are very nice and everything like that. There's a lot of data behind it and things like that. And really, I just think it's really cool. I don't know how much I'll play it, because I don't tend to game on my mobile too much. But it was my little way of kind of showing support to the developer, because I waited for a long time for such titles to be released, and I'm glad that they're continuing to evolve and bring them out. Really, this is clearly I look at their success with the PC title because the whole layout and everything is very similar, and it's a massive leap from the first Motorsport Manager, in my opinion. So qualifying, grabbed second place and met my objective, which was nice. My second driver was down in like 16th, I think I'm reading there. So not too great from there. And JTV Sports reckoning we could win on race day. So yeah, a little bit of media coverage there, which is good for sponsors and the like. Nice little grid animation here with Hugh there in second. Probably didn't need to scroll through the whole of this. I do sort of swipe it a bit faster, but I thought it was a cool little addition. It looks good. It just keeps surprising me that this is on a mobile, really. They're so powerful these days. So here we come to the race setup section, and I do get a little bit confused because I start trying to change the fuel load, forgetting that it's a no refueling series. But I thought, right, the guy who is further down, I'll put him on hard tyres, see how long he can go on those, and I'll put him on a low fuel burn rate strategy. I was considering what to do, but I thought that was maybe the best option because I keep calling it her, a he, just a habit, but it's a her, I guess, with a name like Patricia. Low fuel burn rate, and I thought conserve, sit at the back, hard tyres, see how it goes, see how long the tyres last, maybe a push later in the race, possibly, who knows. With a 17 lap race, these go in 11 to 13 laps, that'd get me in range of putting softs on late in the race and having a push, basically. And then with my guy in second place, I thought, well, soft tyres, there's no need to be conservative. Just go out, be neutral, but on the soft tyres, the pace is obviously there because he's already qualified up there. It shouldn't be too much of a disaster, and I can swap and change the strategy as I go. I was still considering how conservative to make my second driver for the start, but just double checking everything. I think this is where I was trying to change the fuel and wondering what was going on. But these are the things you do when you don't prepare properly. But yeah, so the first one, Spec Series with no refueling, and in the PC version, those things got put to a vote mid and end of season, I think, so they could be changed. So we'll go to the start of the race, and I'm going to run through the whole race. I think it's maybe 10 minutes, just because I want to. I think it's not very much. I think it was like $3.99, but I figured people might be interested to see what the game actually looks like, and be interested in my impressions, maybe. So Samson, I think is the name, jumps into first place straight away. Happy days. And I expected the second driver to kind of plummet like a stone with the strategy I put them on. And things are grand. First place. I wasn't really considering very much. I wasn't thinking about tyres particularly at this stage, but I was seeing the gap growing first. So nice surprise, because I really wasn't expecting that at all. I thought it would be tougher initially. Someone there getting a drive-through penalty, that's a good thing to say. There's penalties. People can spin, and I believe someone does later on in the race, and you can get virtual and proper safety cars. Now, my second driver is telling me they've got a dilemma, they've got loads of fuel spare, things like that. I don't care, that was the strategy. I wanted to build up excess fuel, and you can see that in the lower right hand corner building up. There is my first driver, it's zeros, he's just driving and the fuel is where it is. I figured we had the guy in first, so let's play him neutral. He's not attacking, he's not pushing too hard, everything's gravy. Let's try something a bit different with the driver lower down, because to get anything out of it, I had to do something different, I felt. But as we're going through, things are looking good, and I think at this point I start to take notice at the guy in first tyres, because I notice I'm wearing them a little bit more than the guy in second, and it's worth noting the guy in fourth is actually on mediums. So now I start thinking, right, what do I do? Do I go for a soft run, or do I a soft second run, or do I go for a medium run, or what do I do here? Now I think I've put my first driver on tyre conserve, and I was gonna go into the pits around 30%. I think that's what I've decided in my head, because again, I remember from the PC version around 30% and your tyres drop off a cliff. So I didn't want them to just die off and have to pit early, and I wanted to be in a good position. So the dilemma at this point was, do I go softs and go fast, or do I get mediums and see how long I can go, or do I go hards and try and make it to the end? In the end, I believe I plumped for softs, because I thought, well, everything's going well, so why wouldn't I just put some more softs on, go out, have the pace, and carry on as I am, basically. I do look at how long it will take to fix the car, but it was like 16 seconds. So, yeah, I thought I best not fix those things, basically. So I'm saving tyres, down to second place. It's not at the end of the world. And my second driver, I'm thinking, right, it's time to do a bit of something. Should I do this? Should I do this? I put him on full attack while my first driver is in the pits, and he's out of the pits before my second driver even gets onto the start-finish straight. Luckily for me, most of the front runners pitted at that point too, but the person in first and third are on absolutely annihilated tyres, so I know I'm going to be catching time on this lap on them. I didn't notice initially the guy in sixth put medium tyres on, which was something I thought of, and then actually I just noticed again there that the guy who is ahead of me on track in second actually put mediums on as well. So now I realised that I still had my first driver on conserved tyres, took that off, put him on an all neutral footing, and did the same with my second driver. I thought, no, this isn't the time to be pushing with the second driver. Let's take advantage of the hards. They may be in dead last at the moment, but let's go with this strategy and see how we end up, basically. It's worth pointing out, even though I've turned it off, the sounds, there's some like nice menu music. It's not corny, it's pretty good, it sounds fitting, and on track there are car sounds and things like that. It all works well with the game, I think, and it has like the feeling of high production quality to me. It doesn't sound like they've just got some off the shelf rubbishy music just because they need some, basically, if that makes any sense. So my second driver is now making progress on someone who's also on some old hard tyres, and I think now, I believe at 31% is the time to pit, and I'm thinking, right, what do I do here? Do I go with more hards? Do I put them on something else? I'm looking, there's 7 laps to go. What do I do? Right, let's conserve fuel. And I'm not sure when it is I decide to pit. It's probably the next lap, because I'm looking how long the softs last at this point. And there was a little radio message from that driver telling me the tyres were gone, basically. But again, I'm thinking, you know what, they're in 19th place. Let's now see it through and get to the soft tyres and see what we can do. At this point, I am glancing up and seeing that my first driver, their tyres are pretty knackered on the softs, on their second set of softs. But things seem to be working well, albeit from 19th for the second driver. So I'm like, right, soft tyres, conserving fuel, all good. We can push on those softs because the laps left and things are good. Now, I need to pit again, so there's a thing. And with this many laps to go, it's obviously going to be softs. There's going to be no problem stacking the drivers at all because the first driver's so far ahead. And I just put him on to conserve fuel because he's just behind first place, who is on some mediums. And at this point, I'm thinking, this fight is lost. I'm going to make time up towards the end of the race, but this fight is done, basically. And out goes the second driver on their soft tyres on a neutral strategy there, still with plenty of fuel in hand. And there comes the driver from second place to put some softs on. 5 laps remaining. Good position to be in, fresh tyres, rejoins the race in third. So I'm thinking now, unless I get some kind of reliability issue, they're in a good position now because it's podium. Basically, they're on fresh softs, people around are on mediums and hards, things are looking good, basically. As my second driver begins to climb a few positions there with the other drivers that have been in the pits, but as you can see, they're on softs and mediums all round, but they're putting in personal best sectors, and what more can you ask for, really? It's what you want, and really you expect because they've been on hard tyres the entire race. So yeah, first driver now becomes my focus somewhat a bit because I'm thinking, those medium tyres are the first and second guys. They're not looking clever. This could play into my hands a little bit. And now, as you've just seen, I decide to push. I accidentally decided to push the tyres, not the engine, for more fuel usage. And I also put the guy in third on that as well. And at that point, the second place guy pits for some new soft tyres, and I put in fastest lap, which is exactly what you want. So there we are, second place. The first place guy is on some damaged tyres. I bring that fuel usage back to normal. There is a gap. I can't quite see on the screen how far that gap was, but I'm thinking they haven't pitted and there's only 2 laps to go, so they're either going to pit or their tyres are going to be that shot I'm going to pass them as the driver puts in another fastest lap. So doing exactly what I wanted, pushing nicely on these tyres, making good time, hounding first place, and my second driver continues to make positions on those soft tyres, which around this point I am noticing that they're getting into a bit of a bad state, and the first driver takes the lead into the first corner of the last lap, mindful that third place is catching quickly, but second place, his tyres have just gone, full on gone. And as for my second driver, there's not much I can do to help him. He's just going to have to deal, basically. I sort out his fuel usage so that, he's not using too much and things like that. And there we have it. Race win. First time out for Pitlanes.com and Hugh Sampson, I think his name is. So really happy with that. Very happy with that. And just thought, you know what, 14th, just push. Give it everything. See if you can get one more position. Which I'm not going to grumble too much about because, what you're going to expect from starting so low. Tyres absolutely shot and things like that there. But it's great. Got a few achievements, which is always nice. in a mobile game. Why not? I like achievements. I used to achievement hunt a bit on the old Xbox 360. Got some money because I met the sponsorship expectations. That does have like a pit stop strategy thing, so you can analyse what other drivers did. Asked me to rate Motorsport Manager. I decline at that point, but I definitely will. And there's the points rundown. Before the video ends, it's $3.99 on Play Store. I haven't been paid or anything to do this video. I just thought it'd be really cool for the channel. Please add me on the Google Play Store friends gaming thing, Rich32G. And if you've liked the video, please like. If you haven't, dislike. Subscribe. And if you want to see more of this game, I don't mind playing it and putting out more videos. Let me know, guys. See you soon.